everybody, to the next episode of LockersFirst. My name is Veskimeister, and today our guest is Kristian from the company Tembi. Hi, Kristian. How are you doing?
Hi, Andre. I'm doing excellent and pleasure to be here today.
I'm also very delighted to have you here. We met almost a year ago in a conference, and I was already then impressed about your company and your services, and now you are coming back to Tallinn to speak up in a retail conference next week. But let's talk about your company and your service. Maybe some of our viewers doesn't know about what you are doing, so could you briefly describe what you do both for last mile industry and for the real estate industry?
Yeah. So basically, we think that in a few years, every company needs to know what will happen pretty soon in the future, and they will need to look outside. So what we do is that we, across many different data sources, we capture different data. We are talking billions of data points that we capture constantly, and then we merge them into a platform, and we put predictive and prescriptive analytics on top of it, so it's easy as a company to get access to these things, so you don't need to take the different steps towards that kind of analytic escalator, because that is difficult to do if you also have other business to do at the same time, right? So and then we simply make it easily available for the end users. This means that if you work in business development or sales within the e-commerce industry, being a last mile carrier or being a web shop or providing whatever kind of software solutions to users or to companies in the e-commerce space, we know which active web shops are out there. We know which products they sell. We know which technology landscape they're built upon. And this means that you can use it in a sales process to identify and target the companies that you might not know. It also means that you can know if you have some clients on board. Let's say you're a last mile carrier. We can see if you're number 1 or 2 or 3 in the checkout. And if you're losing grounds here, you can also use it as a business strategic tool to make decisions about which products should we as a web shop try to sell to a market, for instance, or which web shops should we, if we are vendor to a web shop that have products in our own portfolio, which web shops should we try to sell them to, because who are actually active in this space, where are the open opportunities, and which web shops will be the ones that grow down the line. Similarly, the setup for the real estate is more or less the same, except that here we predict which companies will be about to move in the future. So if you are a developer or if you're a real estate agent and want to find those that will be your new clients, your new tenants, for instance, we can identify that. Or if you have a building right now with tenants, we can see how risky is your portfolio with companies that would be about to move out. And if you're a real estate investor, similarly like with the e-commerce, we can simply see how will this area develop over time and which kind of bets should you put in. That is basically what we do, and we want to make it so easy for our customers that they can use it in a few minutes from when we engage with them. All the difficulties about data and AI, we handle that. You should just make sure that you can get the benefits out of these services.
So to make it very brief and simple, what you are doing is that you are scanning the whole internet about e-commerce shops every day and storing the data, what they are doing, what they are selling, what are the delivery prices in outboxes, and you have all the data, and you are presenting this to your potential clients. So they can log into your system and take a look what is the situation in the market. So is this in the brief?
That is completely true.
So because in a sense that everybody can do it by themselves to visit manually all the internet sites of the country, but this is physically impossible. What you do, you are automating the scraping data and analyzing it for yourself. The other thing I've noticed is that although we are talking a lot about data science and also AI now, then there are still quite a few companies who can afford data science managers or personnel working for them. So you are providing it as a SaaS service to the company, so they don't need to hire data scientists.
Yes, that's true. It is really expensive if you want to build this. We are talking millions if you want to build this properly in a way where it works and it works consistently every day. And we pick up these kind of different things. And we've been working with our clients across now 7 markets, and we are expanding to more and more markets as well. So this means that we also have an opportunity to develop the product based on different kinds of inputs from our clients.
Kristian, tell me about what is your main points you are going to talk. What is your message to the retailers acting in Baltics?
So my main points next week is going to show what it means to be going from being data driven, which I think today is the absolute minimum. Over the last decade, many companies have learned to work with their internal data and maybe look back at what happened, but to a new way of working. So as a business community in general, we need to rethink how we do things in this kind of AI-driven society. There are so many opportunities and abilities to see the competitive landscape in new ways. However, most companies, they are doing what they usually do. They build old systems, they work with old business models and that kind of thing. So, but we want to make sure that we can decomplexify it. So when you work with as business strategy today, typically you work with a kind of your internal strategy, but things depend on whether you're going to succeed, depend on what's happening out there in the market. So I'll be going into some of these topics, and then I'm actually going to show some some unique data about what's actually happening in the Baltic e-commerce market. Which products are growing, are the most important products, which technology landscapes do the web shops have, how are the last mile carriers doing compared to each other, and these kind of things.
Absolutely, it's going to be definitely fascinating speaking engagement next week. So let's go to more specific. And last week we together with Tembi and Partial Locket Central started to publish Tempi Delivery Index.
Yeah.
And what it is, that it's your data that you are gathering from 7 different countries about the delivery options in e-shops. So what are the prices for the home delivery? What are the prices for PUDO delivery and Partial Locket delivery? And we are together calculating a country average for the month and publishing it. I think it was perceived from the market quite well last week. I think this information was needed. At least it spiked some interest among the players.
I completely agree, and I think it's also partly because, as you say, you can't do this manually, but it takes forever to do it. So nobody has this insight themselves, and this means that there's a completely new transparency to the market. We know that our customers, they would not know how many e-shops or web shops that are in their current market. They simply don't know before we enter the game here. And of course, they don't know what is the actual average price, and they don't know who's number 1 or 2 or 3 in the market. They have some sorts of ideas about it, but they can't follow that constantly. So I think it's been very well received, and it's been an excellent collaboration with you, Andre, and Partial Locket Central.
Thank you. It's really interesting because I really also like data and database decisions, and this is one wonderful source to have information about not only your service but also your competitor services. It helps you to position your offering to the market much more precisely than without it. So I think this is absolutely necessary service in every market.
Yeah, I'm happy you think so. So that is why we work with it every day, because we see that as well. Our clients, they they want to win in their market, and they know that they need to do these kind of investments. And some have even tried. As I said, we are in 7 markets, and in some markets, some have tried to do it themselves but didn't succeed, or they might succeed once, but then it like a couple of months later they found out that what they did was obsolete. So providing this service is really important for us at a high quality and a consistent service.
Yeah, and again, now we have been talking, and this Tempi Delivery Index talks about delivery only, but you have also data for all the goods sales on every e-shop. So basically, your clients are also the web shops and e-commerce sites who would get through almost real-time information about their sort of competitors on the product level. Is it so?
Yeah, that is completely true. So we will be able to tell, are you in a market that is underserved or overserved with the products that you deliver? We are able to say, which products grow over time with the presence in a region. For instance, we can look at, just to see if you look at your competitors, how many products do they have, and how many products do they have on average. And that is something that we find that most companies in this area, they actually don't know when they try to do budgeting, or if they go into an M&A session, they try to say, they try to convince investors that we might sell these many of this good here, but the evidence about the competitor landscape and the evidence about the market size is often anecdotal, and at best it's based on like different fragmented statistics that they can, and assumptions based on this. But we can simply make it easier to persuade investors about what so you have the real backup evidence. We can make it easier to make the decisions about which product categories should you enter, in which market should you enter, and also even which time of the year should you enter this to with these kind of products, to make sure that you get something beneficial back. So there are many good opportunities with this kind of information.
I think you are in absolutely right track. I think that sort of demand planning will be one of the most needed service in upcoming future, because the AI is coming better and better every day, and this is a huge place to save money. Just think about the inventory. The retailers have inventory costs very high, and to make their mistakes in 5% can immediately be shown in your profit statement.
Completely true, and you need to make sure that you have the goods when the clients are there, and you need to make sure that you can ship it fast. If not, you will lose the customers. But on the opposite, if you have too many items of the same kind of product, then you might risk having too many in stock. And as you say, in both cases, you actually lose potential business.
Absolutely. So I think we have to wrap up this podcast today. But some words about also your future and your product future. Are you going to develop your product further, or are you going for geographical expansion? Because also last week when we published this Tempi Delivery Index, there were some requests from different markets to have that service. So what are your future plans?
The future consists of both these two scenarios that you described there. So we will keep working with the predictive analytics in it, so that you can be better and better at saying what will actually happen in the future, so that and with different kinds of these questions. So this means that you can use the service even better to look ahead. We also, but at the same time, we are opening up in different countries in Europe. So right now we are looking into opening up in the Benelux and part of the DACH region and part of Eastern Europe as well. So these are some of the countries that we actually actively assessing. And I would be surprised if we don't have a handful of more countries within our platform before the summer.
This is good to know. But thank you, Kristian, for this interview and your insight. And I hope you have a pleasant keynote speech next week in Tallinn. And hopefully we can soon publish also the Tempi Delivery Index for the February.
Yes, we can. So, but I'm looking forward to coming to Tallinn as well next week. It's going to be exciting to be part of that conference.
Thank you and take care. See you at Tallinn.
See you.